You're the favorite ex-wife, Mary. Whoa, stop. Listen, we had something special.
He's sobbing. He's saying it's the end of an era. It didn't have to be this way.
It's honestly mind-blowing how Robyn feels the need to protect her precious tenders from learning that Mary has to, move. But let's not forget, she had absolutely zero sympathy for the actual 13 kids when their entire world got flipped upside down and they were ripped out of their Utah lives to start fresh in Las Vegas. And don't even get me started on how she made enemies out of the older kids because they weren't jumping for joy over the news that she was pregnant, as if that was the most traumatic thing they were dealing with. And Savannah and Isabel, remember them? The tenders at the time. She probably didn't even give them a second thought. Back then, Robyn was all in on her drama, moving around the American West, chasing after some guy with a receding hairline. No problem at all. But now, suddenly, she's raising these kids like they're fragile veal, too delicate to handle the concept of someone moving across the country. The whole thing with Mary was just ridiculous. Seriously, it was like your distant Aunt Marge telling you she's moving. Everyone's like, okay, cool, see ya. Her role in their lives is so small at this point that it's almost laughable that Robyn's making it into this huge issue. And don't even get me started on Robyn's "is this a conversation she can hear?" moment. That was so annoying. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X. Did anyone else catch that little nugget when Christine was talking about taking care of the kids when they were babies and toddlers? She casually mentioned that Janelle was working full-time, and Kody was out of town during the week. Wait, what? So they were living in their trailer in Wyoming, popping out kids left and right, and Kody was gone all week long. How did that fit into his supposed rotation? No wonder the wives didn't get along. 3 women who didn't exactly see eye to eye, stuck in close quarters with small babies and toddlers, while Kody was off who knows where, not doing the daily grind. What a gem. Sure, Kody had to travel for work, sales, or whatever, but for the kids, it probably made it even more exciting to see their dad when he was home on the weekends. Perfect for Kody, though, right? More of the spotlight on him, with everyone, from the wives to the kids, all hyped to see him. It got me thinking. They always say how Kody used to be such a great dad, especially when the kids were little. How? He wasn't even there. They've been making excuses for him this whole time, and it's honestly kind of laughable. But I guess that's why I keep watching. We're getting glimpses of those wholesome family moments, but we're also seeing these little truths about what life was really like. Spoiler alert, it wasn't that perfect family life they've been trying to sell us. Honestly, I'm not surprised Kody wasn't more involved in raising his kids. He was more like a fun weekend dad at best. At worst, probably a religiously controlling, volatile, and immature one. And like Isabel said, he's not a present father. But then again, the bar for good plied dads must be set so low that it explains why Kody got any credit for being one. The way Christine said she won't stop for anybody really rubbed me the wrong way. That's not just anybody, that's her daughter. Her young daughter, who's crying and saying she's struggling with the situation. The way Christine brushed that off with, "I won't stop for anybody," just struck me as dismissive. It's your child, for goodness sake. I know some people are probably gearing up to tear me apart for this, as they always do when I bring up Christine, but it's not that I dislike her. It's just that the way she's rushing into this relationship with David feels incredibly fast. I get it, she's been in a closed culture for so long, and now she's finally doing her own thing. But still, some things deserve more consideration. People will argue that she's 50 and why should she have to wait? But if you're truly secure in this relationship and feel that David is your soulmate, then a few extra months to give your kids a bit more stability wouldn't hurt. If it were just truly wanting Christine to slow things down, I get it. But it's Isabel, who, by the way, is a sweet and thoughtful girl, saying she's scared of losing her relationship with Kody over this. That's the issue. The problem isn't Christine's relationship with David, it's the impact it has on her children, particularly Isabel and Kody's inevitable distancing from them. The whole thing seems to be about how Kody would react, not Christine and David's relationship itself. Isabel has already moved out and found her space, going to North Carolina after graduation. I totally understand why she needed that distance. I get that Christine hasn't exactly been Mother of the Year, but once the kids are adults and out of the house, they don't really get to dictate her dating life. Just like Christine doesn't have a say in their romantic choices or how fast those relationships move. What I do wish we saw more of is Truly's perspective on all of this. I really hope she's on board with everything that's happening. Okay, so in the latest episode, Mary mentioned that she felt Kody was pushing her away on purpose so that she would leave and he wouldn't be the bad guy. Well, we all knew that. Then, in Kody's interview, he says that Robyn was supportive of them splitting, but that he needed to wait for Mary to leave on her own. He even admitted that he might have dragged it out too long. Wait a minute, hasn't Robyn been sobbing about how she wants to grow old with her sister wives? Hasn't she been saying how badly she wants Kody to fix things with them? Didn't Kody once say she was all for reconciliation? So, did the truth finally come out on TV? Did Robyn admit she was breaking up the family, and Kody confessed he dragged out the Mary situation longer than he should have? I'm not sure if I got this right, or if I misunderstood Kody's comment, but I thought he said he led Mary on far longer than he should have, because Robyn told him he was wrong to try and break things off. At this point, I think Robyn is finally coming to terms with the fact that Mary is leaving and wants her to find happiness, but I don't buy it. I also think Robyn's a little irked by Kody still being sad or emotional about the end of this era. The thing is, Kody never knew true happiness or love until Robyn came into his life, right? So if he's still grieving the past, it means he did know love and happiness before her. The truth is, Kody's completely lost. He's been so manipulated by Robyn that he doesn't even know what he thinks or feels anymore. Unpopular opinion. I don't feel sorry for Mary. Maybe one day I will, but not today. Sure, all her reactions came after Kody outright rejected her, but even after his disgusting rant at Christine, Mary continued to support him. She went and had a big emotional hug with Robyn right after Kody's abusive outburst. But where was the support for Christine? Kody tore into Christine, humiliated her, and she embraced Robyn, not Christine. In her talking head, Mary claimed she was angry over Christine leaving and felt betrayed, and even seemed glad Kody said those things to Christine. Christine definitely has her own issues, but she didn't deserve that verbal assault. She was upfront about leaving, while Mary secretly sought an escape, which, let's be real, backfired because her lover turned out to be a catfish. But still, Mary felt betrayed by Christine leaving. That's pure hypocrisy. If I remember right, Mary was the one who pushed for Robyn to join the family in the first place. My belief at the time, and still now, is that Mary thought adding a new wife and more kids would shake up the dynamic and make her more beloved and appreciated by Kody. Another plan that backfired. Ultimately, Mary's own actions and schemes led her to where she is today. I do give her credit for finally getting out, but I'm not about to start feeling sorry for her. As for the OG3, they didn't treat each other well either. They were all competing for Kody's affection, and all of them made mistakes along the way. I don't blame one more than another. But honestly, Mary summed it all up perfectly when she said Kody made her jump through hoop after hoop for the last 10 years, promising that if she did everything he wanted, they'd be a real couple again. And then, when the list ran out, he basically told her no anyway. That's just the reality of her situation. As a child of divorce who experienced the awkward and sometimes painful reality of my mom dating men when I was a young teen, I am honestly really disappointed in Christine. She portrays herself as this devoted mother who would do anything for her kids, yet just 2 months after meeting a man, she moves him in with her teenage daughters. Really? She would do anything for her children, but apparently not take the necessary steps to make sure this overeager guy isn't a potential danger. Here's the thing. Groomers target vulnerable women like Christine to gain access to vulnerable kids. And every time she acts all sassy and defensive about not caring what people think, it makes my blood boil. If I were Kody, I'd be throwing a fit about the risk of bringing a man into Truly's space like that. The sad reality is, all of them, every single one of those parents, have repeatedly sacrificed their children's needs. This is nothing new. I was Truly's age when my parents started dating after their divorce, and my dad took his time introducing us to the woman who would eventually become my stepmother. She's an amazing person, and I can't imagine my life without her. But the key is, my dad was careful. He didn't rush anything, and he thought about how it would affect us. My mom, not so much. She brought men around quickly, and some of them even hit on me when I was a teenager. Thankfully, I was able to stand my ground, but honestly, the risk of something much worse happening was real. And when I told my mom, she didn't care. Long story short, healthy, responsible parents don't handle dating with kids the way Christine is doing. Even if David turns out to be the best stepdad ever, Christine took a selfish, ignorant risk for absolutely no good reason. 2 months, that's insane. I feel the same way. As a single mom, I chose not to date because I had my kids to think about, and I've heard too many horror stories. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but my kids came first, end of story. Christine has put Truly in a dangerous situation, and it makes me deeply uncomfortable to watch. It feels like Truly's needs weren't even considered, especially with how quickly they moved into this relationship. It just doesn't sit right with me. Okay, stick with me here, because I think we're starting to see some things unfold. Kody's been with one woman for a while now, when he used to have 4 to choose from. And after those hard divorces, I think he's finally starting to view Mary as one of the loyal people left in his life. When Kody said he and Mary used to fight and F, I think we just saw them get past the biggest fight of their relationship. And now, I'm starting to think he's ready to F again. I started getting this vibe during that conversation they had a few episodes ago, when Kody said something like, "You're mistaken if you think I'm not a man of my own mind." Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think Kody's attractive in any way, shape, or form. But that moment, he was definitely trying to play the sexy card with Mary. Seriously, watch it again if you don't believe me. It was like, oh yeah, I'm a big strong man who thinks for himself and wears my big boy panties. Anyway, based on the preview for the next episode, I think we're going to see more of this weird vibe. I don't think Kody really wants to get back with Mary, but I do think part of him might. And I also think it's finally hitting him that he's pushed away almost all of his OG family, so now he needs to be nice to the ones still willing to deal with his nonsense. Is it just me, or has Robyn matured backwards? I've been rewatching some older seasons while waiting for new episodes to drop, and I'm currently at the point where everyone is packing up their Vegas rentals to move into their new homes in the cul-de-sac. It only took me about 2 episodes to realize it, but Robyn seems so much more mature, well-spoken, and together in those earlier seasons. The way she talks to her kids, the way she speaks about the family business, and even her discussions about wanting a solid family unit. It all feels like there's actual thought and intention behind her words. Fast forward to the newer seasons, and it's like Kody has dumbed her down. She now sounds like a 13-year-old girl trying to have a serious conversation with her mom about her friends not getting along. I honestly feel for her because it seems like all she really wanted was a big, happy family, and Kody completely messed up that dream for her. But even with that, she comes off as so naive and immature now compared to how she spoke in the earlier seasons, like 2012 to 2014. Am I crazy for noticing this, or does anyone else feel the same? Anyone else cringe when Robyn was trying to figure out whether Ariella should step out of the room before Miri shared whatever she was about to say to Kody and Robyn? I'm assuming Robyn was worried it was about M, and I'm betting M stands for money. Or Mary moving. Actually, definitely money. But regardless, this scene really highlighted just how controlling Robyn is over everyone, especially around her kids. Maybe she was worried Ariella would suggest more dates. It's clearly about Mary moving, which is insane to me. A 7-year-old doesn't need to be protected from the fact that sometimes extended family members move away. Mary's basically a fun auntie to the kids, seeing them maybe a dozen times a year. So why is that such a big deal? The first time kids experience family members moving is exactly when they should be learning about it, whether they're 5 or 7. Shielding them from that reality until they're 21 isn't doing them any favors. But what really gets me is Robyn's misalignment of values. She thinks it's necessary to protect Saul and Ari from hearing about Mary's move to Parowan. Yet it's totally fine for Ari to have a man in kindergarten, and even brag about losing him to another classmate. It's just wild to me how skewed her priorities are. I honestly don't get why there's still this promotion of polygamy, when frankly, no one in this family seems to show any real kindness toward each other. Whether it's the culture, the structure, or just these individuals, it's pretty evident there's a lack of genuine care between them. Christine and Janelle may talk about being best friends, but their interactions weren't always kind, especially with the other sister wives. The same goes for Robyn and Mary. They've been openly hostile to each other and to Janelle and Christine at times. Christine has said some awful things to Mary, all under the guise of bringing her closer to the family. But now she's rushing full steam ahead with David, ignoring her kids' feelings in the process. Robyn, too, has said terrible things about Mary in leaked text messages from years ago, calling her names and even keeping her from seeing the kids. Janelle has emotionally attacked Mary repeatedly, and let's not even get started on Kody, who's basically the biggest jerk of them all. Then, there are the kids, who have openly shared how hard their childhoods were, from dealing with poverty to a lack of adult supervision, with older siblings taking care of the younger ones. The only thing they seem to appreciate is their sibling relationships. So, with Janelle and Miri still claiming that polygamy is so great, I have to ask, what exactly do they see as the value? What was so great about the first 18 to 20 years where the kids were growing up as siblings, especially if things were even worse between the wives back then? What do they think made it worth it? I honestly don't get it. Did anyone else catch that moment in the newest episode, around the 29 to 30 minute mark, where Kody straight up blamed Robyn for him leading Mary on for so long? He said something like, like Robyn frequently asked me in this case. Well, Robyn was always really supportive, in fact. I dragged it out a little bit long, 'cause Robyn was like, it's not right for you to break this off, and she has to do this. So, all those years of Robyn telling Mary to stay because she knows Kody still loves Mary and they just need to talk. Turns out it was all just lip service. I mean, we all knew this already, but hearing Kody basically slip up and admit it was a weird moment of truth. It's especially strange since for the past few seasons, he's been screaming that he doesn't do anything Robyn tells him to do. Or maybe he just can't take accountability for anything and Robyn's the only one left to blame. Let's not forget that in one of the tell-alls, Kody tried to blame Christine for not getting back with Miri, claiming that Christine threw a fit, which somehow made it her fault. It's all Kody's fault. Robyn's terrible too, but honestly, it's only a matter of time before he turns on her too. Christine seems more obsessed with the timeline of her relationship than with the actual relationship itself. She starts almost every sentence with how long she and David have been together. And then there's that odd giggle when she talks about moving in and living in sin. It almost feels like this whole thing is more about sticking it to Kody than embracing any real connection with David. Honestly, it seems like Christine's built this fantasy relationship in her head, and now she's playing it out, hoping it'll work. But it's hard to take seriously when everything feels more about the idea of love than the reality. And then there's the weird body language. I've cuddled up with someone on the couch or in bed, sure, but I've never stood side by side with them, staring down my ex-husband, completely unblinking. That was just awkward as hell. She's gonna get a crick in her neck if she keeps that up. Kody has gaslit Meri for years. He set impossible goals for her, constantly moving the goalposts as long as the show's been on. And even at the very end of their shared life, he still puts the responsibility on her to explain to Robyn's tenders that she's finally leaving. Then, after all the years of him saying how he never loved her, how he regrets marrying her, he suddenly gets nostalgic and flirty when she decides to leave. It's maddening, and Robyn's little twinkle in her eye when Meri says she's moving. Honestly, it makes me sick. All the wives would be better off without him. I honestly wouldn't mind watching a spin-off with Christine and David. I'd take that over keeping up with Kody and Robyn any day. Meri has taken a lot of heat from the audience for staying in the relationship for so long. And while I think she would have been better off leaving earlier, the show is finally pulling back the curtain on how Kody has manipulated her for years. It's no wonder Meri holds back on what she really thinks or wants. She spent so long navigating how Kody will react to her decisions, because who could ever know, with him jerking her around all the time. Even now, after the legal divorce, the spiritual release, and season after season of him saying he just wants her gone, he's still crying, probably in that Robyn-style fake emotional way, because she's finally made her exit. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.